CLI versus GUI. On the last meet, someone asked me whether we are a mouse guy. I didn't understand that question. Like, I am a human, but I'm not sure whether I'm mouse guy or not. So the real question was like whether I use CLI intensively or not. That was the question. I didn't on that time. But I see there is a topic called CLI versus GUI. So from the beginning, like 1960s, 70s, teletype writer, those were the first keyboard connected to the computers. Later on, Xerox, Apple, and Microsoft created GUI. There is a huge debate regarding this, who invented it, but I'm not going to into that direction. Let's stick to our topic today, like CLI versus GUI and why CLI still exists and winning. Yes, CLI still wins. There is some reason, and let me understand why this topic is saying so. Let's open our CLI terminal. See, this is my CLI terminal. This is a virtual terminal. That means it is not actually the terminal, but virtually created terminal. It will interact the shell, in this case, the Linux shell. In this case, the fish shell. The fish shell will interact with the kernel. So this is my virtual terminal, and this virtual terminal is using fish 4.2.1, and this fish terminal is interacting with Linux kernel. By the way, this system is using Linux Arch kernel 6.18.2, but my daily driver system is using CassioOS, which the operating system is GUPOS. If I type htop, there are some CLI tools which is like really useful, and if I open a GUI tool like a file manager, simple file manager, it is a file manager, it can open files. There are some file manager in terminal also, like NNN. If I type NNN, it will open up my favorite terminal based file manager. See, if I open this, it will go like this. It is so fast. If I compare with this one, it feels the lag. But if I try using CLI based terminal, it is so fast and instantaneous. Like if I go to this one, this feels very instantaneous, and the navigation is also very good. I can understand what is my current folder, that means the pwd present working directory or something else. Let's go to the temporary directory. See, here is a webm file. I can see that one too. I can create a folder over here. If I say like this folder is UU, I can create that folder. But if I create that folder over there, it is not synchronous. That means if I use a CLI based file manager, it doesn't show up immediately like over here. Right now, I can see that. If I open up a new terminal, let's increase the font size, CDT. See, there are one folder and one file. Same over the GUI. It feels so great, especially it is having multiple tabs. On the left side, I am having multiple shortcuts or different places, remote sites, recent documents, and other devices. So if I create a folder from here, mkdir T, the new folder is instantly visible on the GUI. So it feels polished user experience. Like those folders are visible instantaneously. But if you compare with the CLI, it is not instantaneous. Like it do not refresh automatically. So there is a pattern, like there is a trade-off between using CLI and GUI. But some cases, CLI outperforms the GUI. Let me give you an example which is given over here. Like this one. If I want to create folder, multiple folder, if I use GUI and like right click, create new, it would take 2-3 steps only to create one folder. What if I need 100 folders? There is a simple command for that. If I type like 10, it did not work. Even I tried using one, it also did not work. Why it did not work? Because it was using fish, and fish is not only a shell but also a program interpreter. It's similar like a programming language, C, Java, PHP. So it also can interpret programs. The main program was mkdir. What it can do, it can create folder, that means directory. So my instruction was to create folder of 1 to 100. So now I see there are so many folders. And what if I want to delete all folders? Here I can do like select all, deselect one file, deselect second folder, deselect another folder, and shift delete to delete all folders. But what if there are other folders also, but along with that other files also, and I want to delete only folders, not those files? Then I have simple find command piped with rm. Let me try. Find dot means it will find within this folder only. Dash max depth 1. That means it will not go into subdirectory. If I need it, I don't need this one. Dash type D. Better to specify exclude this directory also. Dash not dash path dot, so that it do not removes this directory itself, and execute exec rm plus. So rm cannot remove because I provided rm. The command would be rmdir. This command will work only if the directory is empty. Let's see. And if I go to the folder, I see it is having files. All those directories are gone away. So there are hundreds of example I can give you where CLI is no doubtly the top, but there are some practical use cases. Like there are some web browser still exist today. Those are able to browse the web using the terminal, virtual terminal itself. That means the CLI. The name is lynx links. Let me find if this links package is available. Sudo pacman-s links. Let me see if links is present. Yes, links is still present. That means with using links I can browse through internet, but I'm sure it would not be a great experience. So it's better sometimes you use CLI, sometimes you use GUI. But in some cases, like generating multiple or even 1,000 bar charts, let me show you this bar chart. Like this was my sub project, but it needed some data to be visualized. But I'm not capable to use any Excel sheets or similar tools. Then I used one simple CLI tool called GNU plot. If I define what are the data set I need, like simple this, and using only the CLI, it can generate like thousands of charts like this. I'm sure even an expert Microsoft Excel or LibreOffice Excel user would not do those tasks within few hours, but it is achievable using simple CLI commands. Let me go through what other examples are given, like renaming. What if you want to rename some txt file, a lot of txt file into md files? You can use for loop. But I'm sure like you would need a bash, but I like fish for my day-to-day tasks. That is the reason why my default shell is fish. They have given some grep command. Grep is a very powerful tool. Like I used to see each and every one of our developer are using VS Code. One or two except they have migrated into Z as I use Z. So they use Control Shift and F to find some text within all their projects. But if the project is really heavy, it becomes time consuming to find all those texts, to find a single text from all those files. There are some find command examples, like if you want to find some files more than 100 MB and within 7 days of creation, you can do that. By the way, make sure if you don't know what you are copying and pasting your terminal, you please don't do that, because some command might delete your system itself. That is the reason why general people do not use Linux systems. Previously, in case of Windows also, you could remove all those system 32 directories, and especially copy. Yes, GUI can copy, like you can copy those files within a moment using GUI. But if you are having a lot of files, it is much better and safer way to copy a large amount of files using CP commands. Especially if you are using remote, you should use SCP or ssync or better rcolon. Yes, I see the example of rsync is there. Rsync is a great tool. It can just simply copy files and it also can compare files within fly. And it also supports partial copy, and it can continue your paused or interrupted copies. There are so many examples with awk, du, cat. I'm not sure why they did not mention dog. Okay, I see they also have mentioned about some file managers like Midnight Commander. I am sure I'm having Midnight Commander MC. If I try MC, it takes quite a time to just open. I'm not sure why. I've used MC like 10 or 15 years ago. It was very instantaneous. Let's quit using F10. What next? Ranger. 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 Ranger also feels similar. Like if you can go back or forward, Ranger should have some preview. Let me see if Ranger can preview files. What if I go to the Nix folder, Nix store? Yes, it can provide some preview. So it feels very nice, but in my experience, it is little slow. Let's quit. Simple Q, it gets quit. Then it comes NNN. NNN also I like. Previously I showed it is instantaneous. Like it feels instant. Let's quit. Then LF. I like LF very much because it not only fast but also give you proper file opening. See, I have entered and it opened the file with Git file editor. Let's get quit. Q must be the way to quit. Q is the simple quit, but I was having some file preview opening. That was the reason why it was not opening. What else we got? We got automation scripting. Yes, of course, those should not be mentioned over here because automation scripting, software development, those are basically work of the terminal. You cannot do command interpretation without a command line or terminal. So remote access efficiency, yes, that is a point. Like what if I want to access a remote system? There are GUI related ways are also there. Like if I go over here, if I go this remote system, I can easily manage remote file system using a GUI. But SSH is not only accessing a remote server but also managing that one by using Samba file share. It is manageable, those files, but if you want to manage whole server, you must use SSH. Git version control, yes, there are so many GUI applications are also present. Sometimes those are very useful, at least to me, but in most of the cases it's better to stick with your CLI terminal. System monitoring, as I already said, like there are several other system monitoring tools also available in GUI format, also in even web UI format, also data visualization with GNU plot. Yes, this thing I already mentioned. I have used GNU plot extensively in my past works. Script visualization, real-time data plotting, I think those are same things. The composability advantage, I'm not sure what does it mean. Let's try to read and understand. CLI tools follow the Unix philosophy. Okay, I see, this is the pipe, and what Unix philosophy states, like it is not a philosophy, it is a useful tool. Like each and every application does something and its output should be accessible and manageable by the other programs. Like this find program will find something, and the find data should be shortable using the short command, and the head command will spit out only 10 lines. That is not philosophy, that is usability. And I'm very sad to say, like other operating systems, especially Windows, do not support those data pipeline. I'm not sure why they does. Sometimes GUI wins. Yes, of course, that is the reason why mouse was invented. Photoshop, Figma, file browsing, discoverability. Yes, I already shown, like if you create a file, it is instantly visible on the GUI file browser, but it do not show on the CLI side. Conclusion, I don't want to get any conclusion because whatever it takes, you do your job. If it takes a CLI, you do using the CLI. If it takes a GUI, if you are having great fun using GUI, you do that. That's all. You just do your work, whatever it takes.